This is John Colo at DiscountJuicers.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you. We're going to share with you guys how you can save 50 to 70% off all the nut butters that you buy pre-made in the store when you get the Trivest Backspin Vacuum Blender. Literally, you dump the nuts in, press two buttons, it starts, it makes nut butter without you, and now you can just buy raw nuts and seeds, which can be as low as $2 to $3 a pound. That's what I'm doing in this episode today, to make your own nut butters instead of spending 3 to 4 times or even 5 times more money to buy your nut butter pre-made. And to remind you guys, when you buy nut butter pre-made in a package, they may be adding hydrogenated oils. They may be adding different kinds of trans fats. They may be adding different kinds of preservatives such as BHA, BHT, that are not good for us. They may be adding things like sugar to make it even sweeter, salt, even other oils and other additives in your nut butter. When you have a machine, you can make it yourself and you can save lots of money. And especially because the Trivest Backspin Vacuum Blender has a full 10-year warranty. I'm filming this episode in 2026. So if you bought this machine now in 2026, imagine that. This warranty would not run out until 2036, which is a long time away, which means you could make lots of nut butter and save easily more than the cost of the machine back in time. I think I calculated out once, if you buy like a jar of nut butter every single week, right, in under a year, by buying the nuts, making your nut butter fresh yourself, the machine will pay for itself. And besides making nut butter, this machine can do so many other tasks. So I want you to click down below to my original unboxing video. I'll also put links in the description for how this machine makes a hummus that you don't have to scrape down the sides or use a tamper. You could also make the thickest smoothies in here. This is just one amazing machine that can do a lot more than just make the nut butter that I'm sharing with you guys today. Now today I'll be making peanut butter from roasted peanuts, sesame seed butter, also known as tahini, and sunflower seed butter. The reason why I chose these specific nuts and seeds today is because they are inexpensive. In the bulk section at my local store, the peanuts were like $2.28, as you can see. The sesame seeds were a little bit over $3 a pound, as you can see. And the sunflower seeds were the cheapest of them all at $1.99 a pound. Oftentimes you may be able to find these nuts and seeds near you if you want to buy them organic at Trader Joe's, or places like Natural Grocers seem to have the lowest price on nuts and seeds these days, or source other nuts and seeds at your local Costco or Sam's Club. You could get them in bulk for the lowest prices. Now, while I am doing these 3 nuts and seeds today because these are the low price leaders in the nut butter, I've made many videos making many other nuts into nut butter in the Backspin Vacuum Blender. I'll put links down below. I made walnut butter, pecan butter, hemp seed butter, pistachio nut butter, macadamia nut butter, cashew butter, all different kinds of butters. Anyways, almond butter. Links down below to those videos if you guys want to see how all those nuts, right, can be turned into nut butter as well. And to remind you guys, I generally use only raw nuts to make nut butter, and raw nuts are more difficult to turn into nut butter than roasted nuts. I am using roasted peanuts today. These nuts and seeds are raw today. That being said, if you do want to make nut butters, the roasted nuts or seeds will always work better because they have a higher fat content and the oils in there, and that'll help it to turn into butter much, much better. Of course, the other thing you could do when you have your own machine is that you could make a mixture of nut butter. So you could do half peanuts, half sesame seeds. To remind you guys, sesame seeds are very high in calcium. So if you want to increase your calcium intake, maybe you should eat more sesame seeds. But sesame seeds on their own, made into a tahini, can taste a little bit bitter. And that's why when you cut them with maybe half cashews or half peanuts, right, then it could taste a lot better. And once again, the machine gives you all the flexibility to make your own creations. So you can get the lowest prices, have the healthiest nut butters that are not going to go rancid as quickly, because now we're pulling out more than half the oxygen from the Trivest Backspin Vacuum Blender. The reason why you could make nut butter easily with 2 button presses without a tamper in this machine, because this machine is unlike any other blender or food processor you've seen before it. Let me go ahead and lift this up and explain to you guys how this amazing machine works. This machine is a lot different because it looks like it has one carafe, but it really has two. We have an outer lid, then we have an inner lid, and then we have the outside carafe, and then we have an inside carafe. You guys see the inside carafe? I'm spinning it, right? So I always like to set this down for you guys. So you can see the outer carafe here, which has a handle on it, and then there's the blade on the inside. So you can see I'm spinning the blade here one direction. So the blade, while the blade's spinning one direction, as you can see now, I'm spinning the inner chamber the other direction of the blade. So what happens is this is literally the edges on this inner chamber help fold things in, and through centrifugal force fold things into the blade running the opposite direction. This is like if you entered the freeway going the wrong direction, there will be a collision. That's why this machine can do things other blenders cannot. Have you ever made a smoothie that's so thick in your Vitamix or other blender that you need to sit there and use a tamper, and then it's a hassle, and then sometimes, you know, you forget to use the lid when you're putting the tamper in, you crack your tamper, the plastic, right? Or you know, it's really loud as you're standing over the blender to tap it in, and then it gets a lot of air pockets and it oxidizes a lot, right? That's not going to happen in the TriBest Backspin because this is 100% automatic. It even pulls out more than half the oxygen before you blend up, so that your mixture, whether it's a, you know, super thick smoothie, frozen banana sorbet, or in this case a nut butter, you know, is blend up without all the extra oxygen mixed in, which can help you, especially when drinking smoothies or other sauces and recipes, dips you make in here. You're not eating the extra dissolved oxygen, which then usually will give people, you know, bloating, gas, and sometimes even belching from the extra oxygen. Of course, also the extra oxygen mixed into the food can cause oxidation to your food, can cause the fats to go rancid more quickly, and lower nutrition by 2 to 3 times of some of the oxygen-sensitive nutrients, all right? So that's the basics. Let me go ahead and get this assembled back up and get into this demo further. All right, so before we go any further, I want to show you guys a special promotion TriBest has going on right now, only from August 2nd to August 8th. Right now, during this time, all TriBest blenders, whether it's a vacuum blender or not, so the TriBest Backspin or my favorite vacuum blender from TriBest, the DynaPro, is now 20% off from August 2nd to the 8th. Just make sure you guys use a coupon code DJ at tribest.com. I'll put the link right down below this video so you guys can get 20% off, which literally saves you guys $100 off the Backspin vacuum blender. And yes, it still does come with a full 10-year warranty, saving $100 off. Now, if you missed this special promotion, my coupon code DJ will still save you guys 10% off or $50 off other times of the year when there's not an additional promotion going on. And when you guys use that coupon code, not only will you always get the lowest price from TriBest that is publicly available, but number 2, TriBest will sure be part of the sale, so I can continue to make these episodes for you guys, dedicate my time to do all the research, buy all my ingredients, pay my electricity bill to power the lights, power the camera, and my amazing video editor, so I get these videos up for you guys and show you guys the truth about how to make and process food in your own home, keeping the most nutrition as possible, and more importantly, saving the most money and making a higher quality product than when you let somebody else do it in a factory where you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. All right, so with that, let's go ahead and make some nut butter, guys. So basically, in all these containers, I have approximately 454 grams, which is about 1 pound of nuts. So we got 1 pound of the roasted peanuts going right in the machine. All we do now is put on the inner lid, then we put on the outer lid. Then all we do is we drop down the top. It'll beep at you. You need to make sure the 2 power buttons are in the on position, which is the little line. I always press the vacuum button, which will then get this. There's a little red light on the top flashing, letting you know it's in vacuum mode. Then all we need to do is press the auto high button once. That starts up the vacuum pumps. If you could listen very carefully, vacuum pumps have come on, and now it's removing more than half of the oxygen from the container on the inside. And the red lights at the top are going to go all the way around, and when it's achieved full vacuum, then and only then will the machine start up and start to grind the nuts up, having the blade spin one way and having the outer chamber spin the other to basically force the nuts in to the blades to make one amazing nut butter. So I think I might give you guys a close-up on the process as it's running. Alright guys, so the Backspin vacuum blender has run for a total of 4 minutes, and now it's finished. So now I want to open it up and see what we got. It's always fun for me to open it up and see how well the machine did. Outer lid is completely clean. Let's go ahead and pull off the inner lid. Look at that, guys. Nut butter just stuck on the top of the lid, and you guys can see this is a nice creamy nut butter all inside there. We gotta basically scrape it out. Now, one of my big complaints about the Backspin vacuum blender when it just was released, right, it did not have an easy way to pour this out. I mean, today this is not pourable because it's actually super thick and just smells amazing. But nowadays, with every Tri-Best Backspin, you get a pour spout that you can actually just stick on the side to help pour out if this was a liquid. And in addition, they also will send you a spatula, which I'll be using today, to basically get my nut butter out of the inner chamber, right, into the jar. Look at that, guys. This is a nice creamy nut butter. I'm not seeing any hints of chunks in there, and this is once again just after a 4-minute cycle. Nothing's going to taste better or more natural than nut butter you make, whether you guys want to buy your conventional or even organic almonds. I do recommend the oil roasted nuts. They will perform better to make a nut butter than the dry roasted nuts. All right, so let me go ahead and get all this in a jar and see how much we actually got. All right, guys, so that was a success. I got the inner chamber basically all clean, and look at this. I got a nice jar full of nut butter, right? All right, so that was a huge success. Peanut butter, roasted peanuts, no problem for the Backspin. Next up, let's go ahead and make some tahini. All right, guys, next up, we're gonna go ahead and make tahini. So today I'm using whole sesame seeds to make the tahini. They're generally gonna butter up a bit better than the ones that have the hulls, plus the ones that are hull-less are gonna taste a bit better, not quite as bitter. So once again, we're just gonna go ahead and dump about 1 pound of the raw sesame seeds in the Backspin, and I'm really curious to see how this will work. We got the inner lid on, the outer lid on, shut down the main top, it'll click in place. Click that vacuum button mode, it's flashing on the top, hit the auto high button, and we're just gonna go ahead and let this go to town. Suck it out the vacuum, and then it's gonna run for 4 minutes and shut off. I think we'll speed this part of the video up for you guys to save you guys some time, and we'll come back when it's all done. Alright guys, so the machine has run for a total of 4 minutes, and I'm looking inside. Doesn't look like it got a tahini consistency yet, but let's go ahead and take a look and show you guys what it looks like after 4 minutes. You know, because these are raw sesame seeds with an oil content of approximately 50%, right? If they're like roasted sesame seeds, this would be working a lot better. But because it only has a 50% oil content, similar to pumpkin seeds, which I also had to basically run 2 cycles, link down below to that video. As you can see, it's basically starting to get a tahini formed, kind of like down at the bottom. But at the top, it's still kind of like, just like, not totally ground up yet. So in this case, what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and put it back in there and then run it another 4 minutes. Alright guys, after the second 4-minute session, let's see what we got inside. Nice and warm for sure, and look at this. Looks like we have a nice thick tahini stuck to the sides. On the bottom, I'm no longer seeing any kind of the grit. And let's just go ahead, and it just smells like, basically smells like tahini. So look at this stuff, guys. This is like a thick kind of butter coming right off. Yeah, if you probably wanted it ground down more, you could probably do it one more time. This would be perfect to use in any kind of recipes. It's like totally spreadable. Not quite as like runny or creamy as the ones you would buy in the store that pretty much always use like the roasted sesame seeds. Of course, if you wanted to have this work better, just add in some like raw sesame oil or other kind of oil. That'll help it to work more efficiently and get it turned into a more liquid type consistency. Anyways, I'm just gonna go ahead and scoop out all this tahini into the jar. All right, guys, that was a success. After two runs, we got the nice tahini here, nice, super thick. Okay. Next up, let's go ahead and run the sunflower seeds, and I'm confident we're gonna probably have to do 2 runs, and I think I'll just do 3 runs because that's the longest time processing I've ever done. But let's get started and see how it turns out. All right, so next up, sunflower seeds. Once again, about 1 pound of sunflower seeds, 454 grams, going right in. Once again, we need the inner chamber lid, the outer chamber lid. Shut the baby. Press the vacuum button, and we're gonna press the auto high button. We're gonna come back in about 4 minutes. Maybe we'll fast forward this up so you guys can see what happens in the 4 minutes. And then I'm gonna come back at you and show you guys the results. Alright guys, so it's been 4 minutes, so let's see what happened in the 4 minutes. The raw sunflower seeds were processed, so just as I had suspected, it's basically, once again, turned the sunflower seeds into like a sunflower flour. So it's not quite buttering up yet. It's not totally sticking together yet. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and scrape down the sides a little bit so all this stuff that's stuck on the sides can get processed in another 4 minutes. Alright guys, so now after a total of 8 minutes, let's go ahead and see what we got. Alright, it's definitely looking more like a butter. As you guys, it looks kind of like the tahini, you know, it's all stuck to the sides. I'm not seeing any kind of like grit left. But just for fun, I want to go ahead and process this one more time because this would also show you guys if you ran things like the sesame seeds one more time or the pumpkin seeds one more time, or even the pistachios that made a really thick kind of paste. If you want to get it runnier, could you if you ran it longer? Let's find out. So I'm going to go ahead and scrape down the sides, and then we're going to run it another 4 minutes. Alright guys, so it's been a total of 12 minutes. We ran those raw sunflower seeds, and let's see what we got. I'm really excited because you could just basically run other nuts and seeds longer to see if you can get it to be a more fine consistency. So let's see what we got. So yes, I can definitely guarantee now that we ran it longer, now this is getting more into a buttery consistency, much more broken down, getting the oils to come out. Yeah, it's a lot more creamy than it was, and as you can see, especially at the bottom, you can see it's super creamy down there at the bottom. Not quite runny yet, but definitely broken down more than it was just 4 minutes ago. So yeah, 12-minute session can get you an even more buttery texture with the Backspin vacuum blender. Let me go ahead and get all this sunflower butter out into my jar, and we're going to come back at you with my summary. Alright guys, so I got all that sunflower butter out. Now we got some sunflower butter, tahini, and the peanut butter. I think next up, I want to go ahead and taste test each one of them for you guys. First up, I'll taste a little bit of the peanut butter. That's like super creamy, guys. That's like, I mean, when I was a kid, I'd get Jif peanut butter. Well, my mom would get it for me. That's what it reminds me of. Super good, super creamy, of course, nothing added. Next up, we got that tahini. Definitely a bit more thick, but still, you know, totally this would be spreadable. Definitely good. Also thick, like the peanut butter. I'd probably run it one more time just to get it to a little bit better consistency. Finally, the sunflower butter, that almost is going to basically run out or come out, because it's like, you know, not quite as thin as the peanut, not quite as thick as the sesame, but definitely turning into more of a butter, since we did run it for a total of 12 minutes. And there we go. Sunflower seed butter. Wow. After tasting the tahini that has like a hint of bitterness, the sunflower butter actually is, I'm impressed. I've never made it before, but it's super delicious, and especially for people with peanut allergies, right? If you guys have a peanut allergy, or somebody in your family has a peanut allergy, right? That's why it's super important to buy a machine like this and never put peanuts in there, right? Because some of you guys that have peanut allergies, or have children or family members that have peanut allergies, they didn't have a peanut in there at any time, right? And when you buy something in the store, you never know if, you know, they use the machines right before they made your sunflower butter. Maybe they use peanuts in there, right? That's a very important reason to buy your own machine, so that there's no cross-contamination ever, and it can meet all your, you know, criteria for cleanliness as well. So that's super important, and you can make all the alternative nut butters with this machine. I've proven it in many videos. Once again, in the description, as well as one of the comments, I'll put all the links to all the different nut butters I've already made in the TriBest Backspin vacuum blender. In my opinion, it is the best multi-purpose appliance that you can do nut butters, but also do a lot more, such as make hummuses, make different sauces and dips, right? Make the thickest smoothies ever, even make frozen fruit sorbets, right? In the original video, right? All these links are down below. I want you guys to watch them so you could really understand how much of a game changer machine this really is. I saw it many years ago at the trade show, and I was really excited for when it did finally arrive in the US, because this machine is unlike any other machine on the market. It is kind of like a combination between a vacuum blender and a food processor all into one. And the really claim to fame of it is that you can process things without a lot of liquid. If you like to make smoothies that are super thick and you always have to use a tamper, right? That's why this machine will be for you. Once again, link down below for my video where I make the thickest smoothies. And of course, if you like saving money, this is the way to go, right? These nut butters here were about $2 for the whole jar, right? And over the life of the machine, which is 10 years, you're gonna save a lot of money making your own nut butters that are gonna taste better, not be going rancid, and have a longer time before they expire than the ones made at high speed in factories that tend to have the nuts cause more oxidation and go rancid more quickly, you know, usually using VCMs or vertical cutting mixers. So I always encourage you guys to process your own fruits, vegetables, and other plant foods at home to have the highest quality. And of course, when you're doing it yourself, you're going to save the most money and prevent that cross-contamination if it's important to you and your family. The final thing I want to say in this episode is that I don't want you guys to miss out, right? If you guys are on the edge to buy the TriBest Backspin vacuum blender, I would say go ahead and buy it. Now's the time. You're going to save $100 off the price right now of the TriBest vacuum blender between August 2nd and August 8th with that coupon code DJ. Save $100 off. Link right down below, pinned in the first comment, as well as in the description. And once again, I want to thank you guys who will use that coupon code. It allows me to buy the nuts and seeds that I buy and give you guys these honest, real-world demonstrations about what actually happens when you put produce or different plant foods in different machines, so I can show you guys exactly what to expect. I'm not trying to pull the wool over your eyes, man. Like, if you want it thinner, run it multiple times, right? If you want it a little bit more pasty, you could get away with 2 times on the sesame, even the sunflower, but the 3 times I think was really the winner. So next time I run sesame, I'll have to do it 3 times. And of course, higher fat nuts such as the roasted peanuts, even macadamia nuts, and other nuts I've done before have always worked fairly well in just a 4-minute cycle. Once again, links down below to all those videos. Well, the final thing I like to say is that I really made some delicious bean bars in the TriBest Backspin. Easiest way to make bean bars is basically 6 ingredients, whole food ingredients: black beans, dates, nuts, Cara powder, mesquite powder, and vanilla bean powder. I'll put the link down below because I don't want you guys to miss that video. Ever since I made that video, I've been basically making batches like every week, and I eat almost 1 bar a day. They're completely delicious, and I love them so much. So don't miss that episode either. And if you guys enjoyed this episode with the TriBest Backspin Vacuum Blender, want me to do more videos where I show dips and sauces and other things you can do in this amazing machine, please be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Also, more importantly, share this in the communities that you're involved with, especially for people that have nut sensitivities, so that way they can ensure you and their families can stay safe by not having any cross-contamination issues when you make all your own nut and seed butters at home. So no longer does your child have to not enjoy some of the amazing foods out there, because now you can control exactly all the ingredients that are going in to make it. Also, be sure to click that subscribe button right down below so you don't miss my new and upcoming episodes. I come out every 5 to 7 days. You don't know what new machines I'll be unboxing, what new machines I'll be demonstrating and making different concoctions, whether they're nut butters, different kinds of juices, vacuum blended smoothies, or whatever, or comparing machines against each other so you can find the right machine for you. Make sure you click the little bell so you get notified as my new videos come out. And finally, be sure to check our past episodes. Past episodes are a wealth of knowledge. Over 900 episodes at this time on this channel dedicated to you guys all about the best equipment to process plant foods to retain the most nutrition so you and your family can be healthier. And of course, links down below to all the videos I've made in the past with the TriBest Backspin Vacuum Blender so you can see how amazing this appliance is. So with that, my name is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Be sure to visit DiscountJuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers.